Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna show you how to build a Lego micro village using common Lego bricks. Okay, first off we start from the water. Simple bricks with a few slopes to create a rounded shape. I used a modified brick there in front. Later at the end of the video you will see why I placed that one over there. As you will see now, the central part of this base is gonna be quite empty. This because I need to save parts. As you know, my collection is small, and this is all gonna be hidden underneath the big structure, so there's no need on filling everything with bricks, and the colors as well don't matter much because it's gonna be covered. So we only need enough structure to make this base solid and more or less connected in all the places where it need to. Here I decided to use some more modified bricks. I added 2 plates at the bottom so it can line up, because as you know, with 2 plates and 1 bricks is like 2 studs. So if you will see now, I will connect this part at that bigger 2x2 brick, and they will line up nicely, creating the side of the base that will come up higher in order to create the mountain at the back. Here with the same technique I'm gonna add another layer, and here is where I can start to create the mountain itself, at least for the side part of it, because then in between here we are gonna have to add all the other layers. Okay, now I'm about to create, let's say, the sandy part of this build. And again, in this color, in 10, I have very few bricks, very few part and pieces. So I use whatever I had: arches, slope, curved slope, tiles, everything that could work. This part is gonna be all mostly hidden underneath the second layer. So again, in this case, I only need to create a kind of solid structure that will be the base for the next level. And also I wanted to get this second layer tilted in a different angle compared to the water, because I think it creates a nicer look, a nicer effect. The back of that modified brick will connect with the modified brick at the bottom, so there is actually one strong connection. The rest of the build is gonna just sit in between the sides of the mountain that we built earlier. Okay, now for the next layer, which will be grass. Again, is a mix of bricks and slopes with modified bricks. These modified bricks are to connect the side part of the slopes to create a nicer rounded shape, as well as to connect all the elements on top of this, which will be those little houses that are just 1 by 1 bricks with cheese slope on top or something similar, as well as some other decoration, which are the trees and the fields. As you can see here, I use some 1 by 2 modified plates with handle. Those are not there for any specific reason, but it's just because I didn't have green 1 by 2 plates. So I decided to use those which actually will have another function which will be the one to hold this layer into place, because they will just go and sit in between other spaces that we left in the lower layer. As for the back of this layer, we don't actually need to add any more bricks because it will be covered with the next layer. So as you can see now, I'm gonna place this, and it's gonna sit in between the two gaps that I left open in the previous layer. Okay, now it's time to complete the build with the top part. Let's start with a little bit of mountain build. This is a small corner that will go and close the gap on the right side of the first grass layer with the same technique that we used earlier. I added this later in this video just because this is gonna help to close down the layer that we built previously. This second part of the mountain is quite simple with bricks and slopes. It's gonna sit just on top there with no particular function other than decoration. As for the next layer, it's built pretty much in the same way as the previous one. Slopes, bricks, modified bricks, and the decoration on top. And this again will sit on top of the previous one. And this one, like the base, is actually in the original, let's say, direction. And the back part of those 2x2 are gonna go right next to the mountain, to the bricks at the end there, with the last part of the mountain that is gonna help to keep this last layer in place. We connect at the back, and those slopes are gonna hold this into position. Now it's time also to see what's the last part of the build, is that gap that I left at the beginning of the video, and that is just for a little boat going on water. It's just 3 simple parts. It's in black only because I don't have those 2 parts in brown, otherwise I think it would have been nicer to have a brown boat. Anyway guys, if you like more of these micro builds, I will put up here a link to one of my very early LEGO Ideas submission. That's actually a digital build of a micro space colony. Go check it out because it's a quite interesting project, even if its time on LEGO Ideas is already finished. Let me know guys some feedback in the comments down below, and I will see you on the next video.